We all have experienced some dark times in life after transitioning out of the military. Some are more worse off than others. But what if you could be encouraged today to be courageous enough to be authentically you versus allowing everything to just build up inside like a ticking time bomb? Which, let's be real, only leads to frustration, isolation, and for some, suicide. Ambitious Vet, are you ready to learn from a fighter pilot on how to keep your adrenaline high by also being open, vulnerable, and generous in everyday life in the trenches? If so, stay tuned for the golden grenades.
I really would encourage all of you when you have the courage to be authentic and take risk and share your fear, share kind of what happened to you. You'll find that there's so many people that relate to what you're saying, and they feel it, and you're their spokesperson. They don't have the courage yet to say it. So when you have the courage to come out and say it, just like the best comedians do, the best artists do, the best performers, you have the courage to actually say what you're feeling, and they're like, yeah, I do too. Now they feel kind of like connected.
Happy St. Patrick's Week, Ambitious Vet. I want to let you in on a few new products that will help you reach your own personal pot of gold. If you've ever been tempted to give up on your dreams because the rainbow seemed never ending, I know how you feel. Luckily, I have found a tool that helps me make daily progress and achieve my biggest life ambitions. It's called the Full Focus Planner, and as of yesterday, it's available in 5 new styles. If you're unfamiliar with the Full Focus Planner, it's the productivity and goal achievement tool I swear by. I'm not the only one though. Earlier this year, Forbes named it the best daily planner. This planner has everything you need to define and achieve your most ambitious goals. It's like an executive assistant, life coach, mighty sidekick, all packed into one gritty, beautiful product. Full Focus Planners are available in several styles and colors, so you can choose the one that fits your lifestyle. And with my link, you can save 10% on your entire order, plus get a bonus gift added to your cart when you select an annual subscription. To get the newest Full Focus Planners, check out the link in the show notes below. And Ambitious Vet, do not forget to use my link to save 10%. Offer ends soon, so get your planner ASAP. Welcome to another Ambitious Vet Show. My name is Chris Hoffman. I'm a Marine Corps combat veteran who got out and had a rough 5-year transition before climbing up a corporate ladder to become a sales trainer. One thing that I realized in my journey is that immediate transitional tools had a shelf life for the goals that most of us ambitious vets desire to achieve post-military. Well, if you're just like that as me, well, this show is for you, Ambitious Vet, as I dive into the trenches with today's most ambitious, goal-oriented, and growth-minded military veterans on the planet who have grown through their transition and have battle-tested golden grenades to empower you to break through new levels of satisfaction, fulfillment, and success after stability is no longer a challenge to overcome. So, Ambitious Vet, if you haven't already, grab a pen and paper. It's time to gain the golden grenades needed to blow through to new levels of your success.
It's time to get into the trenches, dig into your purpose, and fire up your life's fulfillment. The Ambitious Vet Podcast starts now.
What's going on, Ambitious Vets? We are right back inside the trenches today with Mr. Dave Dequeljoe. And if I butchered that, I'm sure he's going to let me know I did. He's a graduate of United States Naval Academy and the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. Dave is also a former Navy fighter pilot with 2 combat tours to Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. He was awarded the Navy Accommodation with Combat V device for Valor and an Air Medal with the Individual Star device for the heroic low-altitude rescue of U.S. Special Operations Forces from an overwhelming advancing armor column. Dave also was awarded 2 Strike Flight Air Medals. Now transitioning home after a debilitating injuries sustained from an inverted flat spin injection, Ambitious Vet, Dave became an entrepreneur and has owned several businesses, receiving multiple awards for positive culture and leadership. Now Dave's ecstatic about helping both veterans and civilians reduce the impact of depression on their lives and minimize the time spent living in pain. He practices this every single day in his current role of entrepreneur and consultant. Dave, brother, are you there?
Dude, what an awesome intro, man. Thank you so much. Really, really thrilled to be on the show. Hope I can pass on, even one bit of wisdom for your listeners and all listeners out there. Get ready to rock. This show's going to be on fire. Hopefully we'll do our best.
Yeah, man. Let's bring the golden grenades, brother. You have an amazing background, both in the military and outside of it, but you also have a very impactful story and a great mission of fighting suicide in the world, brother. And that's a key trending topic, both during COVID times and, outside of it. So tell us more about your journey of just getting out of the military and kind of rediscovering yourself and what that story was.
Wow, that's a loaded question. So I got to start for all the people out there. I got to start for the people who are suffering first. Let's talk about the suicide thing first, then we'll talk about all the fun things I did outside the military. So, what I found was the most inspiring was when I was homeless for a couple of years, the amount of people who helped me. And that's why I always try to act as if everyone needs kind of my assistance or my help, because you're never going to know who needs it. And there were so many times I was so close to kind of flaming out or just kind of, losing all hope. And so out of nowhere, something amazing would happen, or someone would give me a little word of encouragement, or something cool would happen. And I mean, I have to write this book actually just on itself of all the things that happened to me while I was homeless. It wasn't fun. It was pretty miserable. There were a lot of times that were just, obviously beautiful moments, and meeting people from around the world and from around just this whole beautiful country of ours, and how many people helped me from different backgrounds and different ethnicities and different kind of countries of origin, all the things really gave me a deep empathy and kind of love for people around the world. And I think the more people you meet in this capacity that are helping you, you realize that, there's kind of awesome people from every background, and there's kind of not so awesome people from every background.
Yeah.
But I really feel if you try to see people at their best, you usually get the best out of them. And then for people that saw me when I was at my lowest point, for them to see the best in me was incredibly inspiring. And I don't know if that helps someone out there. I tend to ramble a bunch, so just call me out if I talk too long on something. But hopefully that helps someone out there. I mean, obviously, this is the ambitious vet. You probably got a lot of hard chargers out there listening, but I'm sure there's someone out there. Even if you are doing well, you can be doing well financially and be doing well with your career, but not so well personally. And I think my only advice to everyone out there, probably more than anything else, just in case people want to listen to this first 2 minutes and they're like, "This guy sucks, I'm out." My best advice would be don't be the lone wolf. I tried to do it all by myself. I was like, "Oh, I'm so cool. I'm a Navy fighter pilot. I can do this all by myself." And I'm we're all used to being the heroes in the military. We're used to being the ones that rescue other people. Not so easy to ask for help. Not so easy to ask for help at all. And so, learn from my mistake. I rode that train all the way to being homeless. I was like, I'm not asking for any help. I'm just gonna do this myself. And it was kind of a glorious ride, up and down ride, but I wouldn't recommend it. So please do yourselves a favor, avoid all that, and just ask for help, man. You'll find that I think your biggest concerns, your biggest fears, your biggest worries kind of tend to like grow in darkness. And when they hit the sunlight, when you tell other people about them and your buddies, they're like, "Hey, that's not really all that bad." Or I got the same thing too. So my just for advice for people is, reach out to your friends, reach out to other people, reach out to me if you need anything. And there's a bunch of people out there that want to help you. And so the hardest part is really, for me anyways, was overcoming the need and the fear of asking for help. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. Chris,
Yeah.
how you with me, or what are we doing?
No, that's great. No, that's great, brother. So I hear in that is just opening yourself up, right? Sharing your scars, your wounds, in other words, right? And having guys come in and kind of identify, or gals identify with stuff that you're dealing with as well. Because sometimes I don't want to go as far as saying it downplays it, but it humanizes people around you, and it humanizes you. And I think there's a crazy connection happen right there whenever people are just like connected, right? And there's this synergy there, right?
It's amazing. It actually has to do with trust. And I think the thing that I struggled with the most was in the squadron, we were all about, winning and competition and kind of crushing each other. And so, it was like only the best will survive. And, the whole, like, there's two types of planes, fighter jets and targets, and everything else. And so, it was like a ruthless thing. I mean, and I think it was really valuable to have that culture because we were always pushing to be better. We were always pushing each other to be better. But I think the bad takeaway that I took from it, maybe not everyone else did, was that vulnerability was weakness. I thought, hey, if you show weakness, that's bad. And so I think that one of the things that it's probably overused these days. Everyone talks about vulnerability and all that stuff, but what's really powerful about it is if you have the courage to go first and be vulnerable to other people, they'll tell you what's going on with them too. And then you like you said, you have a bond, and you realize, hey, just like in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, when the little Spidey sense goes off, like, hey, you're just like me. And then you realize, like, especially on veterans, we have a tremendous bond. And I met so many great people. By the way, all you ground pounders out there, thanks for saving my life. Obviously, in combat, we're always the ones saving you guys. But when I came back, a bunch of you Army grunts and Marines and the SEALs and all those guys really helped me out quite a bit with getting through a bunch of stuff. So, but I love the fact that obviously we're so competitive in the military, and then outside the military, we're a big family. But I think once you open yourself up to the civilians, I had like a big kind of like probably unhealthy disdain for civilians. Like, hey, you guys didn't do anything that we did, and like you're not, like you couldn't possibly understand what we were going through. But what I found after quite a bit of unnecessary suffering is that everyone suffers from something, and you can't compare. It's not really helpful to compare pain at all. It's only helpful to really kind of share that experience and what you've learned from each other. You can learn something from so many people around you. Last part, and then I'll end this little ramble. My dad always said, he passed away last year, but he always said to me, son, you can learn something from everyone you meet, even as a homeless person on the street. So hopefully if you're listening to got anything from me so far, and hopefully you've learned something from a homeless person, or someone who once was. So I think if you carry that into leaders out there, you carry that into every engagement, try to learn and when possible teach as much as you can at every engagement, life just gets really beautiful all of a sudden. So anyway, I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, no, it's extremely helpful. And what's so interesting to me about you, Dave, is that you were an aviator, right? You were a fighter pilot, just supporting special forces like the intro said, and just a badass in the sky, right? Do you think? Yeah, man. Yeah. Cause I was motor T for the first couple of years of my Marine Corps career, and then I got ninja punched and became a combat cook, but I still was out in the field, and I always appreciate, I know, man. When I went over to Fort Lee, Virginia, I was like, oh shit, come on. But I met some of the coolest guys inside of that pivot inside the Marine Corps. So I definitely don't regret anything. So, but brother, do you think you being a fighter pilot, and this is just coming to my head right now from hearing you speak, is you just seem like a consistent adrenaline junkie. Do you think you constantly look for just adrenaline rushes out of the uniform and in life today based on your military background?
Dude, that's a great question. So first of all, shout out to the Marines. We flew all our combat missions with the Marine Corps, and I have never in my life met a bunch of just amazing people to work with. Just wingmen ready to go 24/7. You wake them up. They don't even sleep, I thought, but any time of the day, they'd be like, let's do this right now. And so I really love the Marine Corps quite a bit. I give them a hard time, and the whole cranny eating thing. They know I love them, but they're just the greatest guys around, gals you could ever imagine, and just great teammates, great wingmen. But this question about adrenaline, it was a big one for me. And I think when I came back, I certainly couldn't slow my mind down at all. And I think probably a lot of people out there, even you lesser mortals that didn't fly, just kidding. A lot of people that didn't fly will appreciate how, it's so hard to slow your mind down after having been in such kind of stressful situations. And I was always looking for something to actually opposite speed my mind up, so I wouldn't think about the things I had to think about. I really kind of my emotional game plan was I'll just ignore everything, and I'll just fly faster and run faster and do more crazy things to just ignore it. And I think it was something that I had developed as a child. There's actually interesting stat for all people out there. Hopefully they're still interested in this. That a lot of people actually have PTSD before they join the military, and sometimes unfortunately, childhood abuse. And so, I had those things also. And my kind of strategy from a kid was I'll just ignore it. I'll just fly faster and just kind of run faster and play more sports and do more awesome things and just keep going. But what I failed to realize is even the old Spartan warriors, if you've seen the movie 300, I'm sure a lot of the viewers out there have seen 300. all the Marines are going hoorah and all the stuff that they do. But
what is your profession?
Right. But if you've seen that movie, even the Spartan warriors knew about the process called catharsis with a K. Catharsis with a K. Then that is the natural, healthy release of emotions. They would actually watch these big elaborate dramas, and they would have a healthy release of emotions, cry, let it out, because they knew that was a healthy functioning of the brain. And I think, unfortunately, these days, no one actually comes out and says it really, but the pressure is to just not show emotions. The pressure is, hey, you're a warrior, you need to be strong, you need to be resolute, you need to be firm for everyone else, and kind of like be the hero for everyone else, be solid for everyone else. But leaders out there, warriors out there, if I got one piece of advice for you, if you've made it this far into my ramblings, is take the time to let those things out, man. For me, it was in the car. I would play Coldplay and Adele, something. I just like a chance to, but I wouldn't do it anywhere else. I had something. I had we lost a child in pregnancy one time with my ex-wife, and it didn't even hit me until like 6 months later. And then it did. All I could do then was just kind of like driving the car and just kind of let it out then. But what I'll tell you out there, all my fellow warriors, is don't wait that long. It's not, it's actually necessary. It's actually all the things I was afraid of dealing with, all the childhood stuff and all the, combat stuff and all the, all the things I was afraid of dealing with wasn't really all that bad when I actually turned at the merge and fought them. I thought, okay, if I just fly faster, if I just hit the speed of sound, hit the speed of light, I'll just outrace these things. But then when real tragedy happens, like when I lost my relationship with my 4 children, who I miss obviously terribly every day, and it's a terrible thing. But when all that came crashing down as homeless, all those things came catching up to me. And they were like, hey, mister, remember you've been trying to outrun us for years now? Here we are. And then I was left defenseless. I had no other defense other than just try to outrun it. And so obviously I had a big poker addiction. I was actually really, instead of addicted to one thing, I was addicted to everything. I was addicted to driving fast, rubbing his racing. I would try to race people on the road, all kinds of wacky stuff that I shouldn't be doing, and all kinds of things just to keep the adrenaline up, just to keep kind of like everything else repressed. So not to be all Brene Brown with y'all, but if you're listening out there, just release those, find an outlet for your emotions, and don't be embarrassed about it. Don't be shy about doing it. This is a natural, healthy way for our whole kind of brain and kind of body to function. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful.
No, that's extremely helpful. And I think a lot of ambitious vets, maybe you that's listening to this right now, ambitious veteran, is that, you may be dealing with racing thoughts. You may be dealing with this sense of like trying to get somewhere quick, and numbing yourself to feeling some kind of emotion that's there. Maybe you haven't even identified it yet, but you're just like, hey, let's just keep going. Right. And you're getting this dopamine rush of let's keep going. Right.
Yeah.
Have this message encourage you right now inside the trenches of life. So Dave, I mean, what do you do right now to kind of just like refresh or recover, potentially slow down right now? Do you have any habits or routines that would benefit just allowing you to kind of, in other words, just kind of chill out? Or do you just keep high speed in the trenches of life every second of every day to just keep moving forward?
I don't do a very good job of this at all. I'm trying to. One of the keys out there, leaders and warriors, if you're listening still, is the process of self-awareness and the process of really understanding, who you really are and also what you really love. And so I would encourage you to make a list of the things and the people you love, and try to do more of those, and then make a list of all the things you don't enjoy and the people you don't enjoy. Try to limit those things as much as possible, because I don't think without that self-awareness, I didn't have that. I was just kind of racing through life, and I would try to find the best in every situation and every person, but I never really quite made a list of things that it is for me. So for me now, it's actually basically music, comedy, and learning and teaching are the things that I really have helped me tremendously. I'll break them down in order. So if you go to my website, dogfightingdepression.org, it's actually the book you can download for free if you're struggling. I don't want it to be money to be an issue, so please download it. You can get the PDF there for free. There's also a bunch of songs and a bunch of playlists. CloudSurf14 on Spotify is my little handle. I've got a bunch of playlists for basically every emotion. One for anything from like kind of upbeat and kind of happy to there's even to just kind of like when my dad died, just kind of like sad songs. That's good for you. Just kind of helps you kind of let it all out. So music is tremendously powerful for me, both for like enhancing the highs of life and also just kind of making it through the tough times in life. If you listen to some of these artists, and in my opinion, some of the best leaders are artists and teachers, because artists, if you notice, like all these famous musicians, they always end up killing themselves. because they're feeling that pain more than everybody else. Here's something I didn't realize too. Some people just feel pain more than others. I didn't realize this until I was talking to you. I have a coach, by the way. Everyone out there, if you don't have a coach, you should invest in a coach, or you should go seek help. It's just tremendously valuable to talk to someone each week and just kind of hash it out with someone that kind of is a kind of just listen to you and a neutral third party. But anyways, these musicians needed music to kind of survive. And so if you listen to some of their lyrics, it'll really help you get through some of the bad times. So I got a bunch of playlists you can check out. Then the comedy thing, obviously, we know this from the military. Something we did really well is obviously things can get so terrible in the military. So you have to develop a kind of a sense of humor, in some cases a dark sense of humor. And I think something that's really missing for a lot of us when we get back. We had our wolf pack with our team, and then we come back with a bunch of siblings that don't get us, and then we kind of tend to isolate and withdraw. That's the worst thing you can do out there, team. Do not isolate and withdraw. Go out there and find some buddies. You can come. Actually, we do a leadership call every Friday called Angels 14 or the Lighthouse. You can message me if you want on LinkedIn, and I'll send you the code for that. It's every noon at Friday Eastern. We got it together, just a group of guys, a bunch of Marines, SEALs, a bunch of gals in there. Also,
sounds
Army,
awesome.
Air Force. We have a Coast Guard Academy person, but it's a chance just to kind of laugh and joke around. So definitely humor. I would definitely check out on YouTube for free. If you have a phone, hopefully if you're homeless, hopefully you have a phone at least or access to YouTube. There's a bunch of comedy stand-up you can watch. Just help you kind of get through that stuff. And then the last one obviously is learning and teaching. You know, when you and sorry for the ramble here, but I found that whenever you read a book more than the news is always full with like dread and everyone hates everybody and all that kind of stuff is terrible. If you actually read books, there's actually some great knowledge in there. It helps refocus your brain on other things and expand your brain actually. And then teaching is so rewarding. I teach leadership now, and it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my entire life. And my little mission is the leader's true mission is to create more leaders. And hopefully, if you're listening out there, I hope that hits with you. Create more leaders. That is the best thing a leader can do. And teach your people your mindset. Teach them what you're thinking. And then when you teach, you actually learn twice. And I've grown so much in the last 2 years teaching. It's outrageous. All right, dude, sorry for the ramble. I know I talk too much.
No. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it resonates. And I think an ambitious vet that may be going through challenging times or have overcome challenging times, I think it may even allow an ambitious vet to really be like, oh, I went through that. I can gain strength to endure this landmine that's in front of me, right? So, brother, you have a coined quote that's like amazing, brother. I just got to tell you. And it says, once people realize how to overcome their internal resistance and their fears, you know, that's whenever they start gaining momentum, confidence, and hope. I mean, I know I paraphrased it a little bit, but I mean, it sounds like you are a human testament to that, right? You've been able to consume content, hit multiple senses, you know, both audio, visual, kinesthetic to go teach and stuff like that to kind of keep you moving forward and feeling like you're accomplished out of the uniform. But walk us through an, you know, more practical how to overcome those internal resistance and fears. I mean, humor is definitely huge, man. I try to communicate with dark sense of humor. My wife, she doesn't get it. I have to go jump on a call with the Marine Corps, right? Marine vet, right? So walk us through getting those, you know, getting past those internal resistance, man, those fears, and how you did it to continue to fight in the trenches of everyday life.
Dude, this is such a great question. Thanks for quoting me, by the way.
Yeah, man.
If anyone saw the movie When Harry Met Sally, this is like, so the first time everyone's quoted me to me, which is great. So I'm really grateful for that, man. That's cool. You know, I think this internal resistance, this is why, you know, leaders out there, everyone out there, you're a leader, by the way. If you're in the military or an ally, you're a leader in every interaction with your family, with the people you walk around with. So if you don't think of yourself as a leader right now, I'd encourage you to think about the real power each person has. But anyways, leaders, I think the most powerful leadership trait is encouragement. Because I do think that people, you know, having traveled around this world a couple of times now, and now I teach leadership around the world, everyone's basically, you know, what makes us different, it makes us beautiful, but also what makes us the same is so beautiful too. And that we all have fears. Even Indiana Jones, my guy, was afraid of snakes. And so, like, I think that when you can encourage people to be authentically who they are, which is a real hard thing. Here's a great quote for you from Jim Carrey. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. I love that quote. One more time from Jim Carrey. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. So if you have a fear of being authentically who you are, and I know a lot of you out there do, especially because, you know, we're kind of built up in the military to be like superheroes and, like, you know, just invulnerable. And if that's kind of your, you know, kind of your armor, your persona, your shell, it really blocks you off from a lot that's beautiful in the world. And in my opinion, on the other side of fear and self-doubt is just beautiful, man. I encourage you to try it out, man. So the courage thing is hard, because my favorite thing in the world is courage, because all my best memories and moments and accomplishments all have to do from overcoming fear. And people think that, they can assume that, oh, I see you doing these things and you're not afraid. I was terrified when I did that speech in Gig Harbor. I'll just send you a link to it. It's called I think the PTSD, or Permission to Start Dreaming Foundation in Seattle. If you search my name, Dave Dequeljoe, you can find it. But it was a speech I gave at a prayer breakfast, and they gave me 5 minutes to speak, and they so the best thing you do is try to save someone's life. And man, I wrote this thing, rewrote it for 6 months, and I was terrified to do this thing. But afterwards, man, I was exhilarated to have overcome that, and it really did. People message me all the time now about how it has inspired them and overcome stuff. And I, the first guy in line actually was an Apache pilot. He said, "Hey man, I really appreciate this." And he went on to become a speaker and a writer, and now he's running for office to represent the people in our country, which is amazing. So, I really would encourage all of you, when you have the courage to be authentic and take risk and share your fear, share kind of what happened to you, you'll find that there's so many people that relate to what you're saying, and they feel it, and you're their spokesperson. They don't have the courage yet to say it. So when you have the courage to come out and say it, just like the best comedians do, the best artists do, the best performers, you have the courage to actually say what you're feeling, and they're like, yeah, I do too. Now they feel kind of like connected, even if they don't actually meet you. And so, like, hey, veterans out there, no one's coming to save us, all right? So we got to save ourselves. So when you have the courage to tell your story, you got something you've learned that's probably painful. People I've noticed in my life, they don't really give a shit about all the things you've done that are great. They don't really care. What they do care is, how did you overcome something hard? And I got to tell you, no one gives me praise for being an awesome fighter pilot. By the way, I'm the best fighter pilot you've ever met. But no one gives me praise for that. But what they are grateful for is the courage to speak out about stuff that was hard for you and how you overcame it. I thought after I gave that speech, I would never get hired. And at the time I was homeless. Obviously, I thought no one would ever be friends with me. All my friends would score me, laugh at me, like, ha ha ha, you suck, you were homeless, you loser. But the opposite happened. Everyone's like, man, I can't believe how effing brave you are.
It's courageous.
I can't believe you how. And so I think the best way to do this is my mom's advice to me when I was a long ramble. But when I was a little kid, she said, David, the best thing you can do when you're not feeling that great about yourself is help other people. And at the time I was like, Mom, that is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. But when I was homeless, I did that, and I gave generously to people when I was homeless. And I honestly, I think the only reason why I recovered and I came back and luckily someone hired me was because they saw that even when I was homeless, I was like writing this book and giving it up for free when I was homeless. And so I think, if you're out there having a hard time, man, I know it's counterintuitive, but if you help other people and you just do your best to share your gifts or whatever they are with other people, your life will get beautiful. I promise you. It's just a leap of faith, man. All right, back to you, my guy. I know I ramble too much. Hopefully this show's a good one.
Good. That's good. I love Mama Wisdom, man. I always go back to Mama Wisdom too. So no, that's really great stuff, right? Because, and Ambitious Vet, we'll post the link in the show notes below for you to be able to get a hold of that and gain access to that. He got a standing ovation afterwards as well, brother. Everyone was standing to their feet, cheering you on after that. And it was just such a powerful story, and it moved me, Ambitious Vet, and I promise it'll move you as well. Touch, move, and inspire you. So, brother, we got a tradition here, right? We got a tradition around 3 golden grenades or wisdom bombs. You've been dropping them on. I think just one of many that you've already dropped is going to fuel our resilience, our grit inside the trenches of life to just continue to endure life's challenges, to find the light at the end of the tunnel. But if you could sum this entire show up with 3 golden grenades, man, that could help an ambitious vet that may be dealing with some landmines emotionally, mentally, or just financially in life right now, what would be 3 wisdom bombs that you would give to drop the bomb right now to keep them accelerating their life inside the trenches?
Dude, this is a deep question, man. I feel the pressure.
Yeah.
And just for your listeners out there, I told my guy here, our amazing host, and by the way, he deserves some love and respect for starting this show for other veterans. I know someone's out there getting something out of his show. Maybe not this episode, but I know people are. So please, if you get a chance, send him some love. Let him know the impact that he's had on you would be tremendous. But he tried to brief me ahead of time what to expect. And I was like, dude, I don't want anything. I just want to be in the moment. And now here we are in the moment. And it's like, oh no, what a terrible moment. That's a quote from my favorite movie, Into the Spider-Verse. So, for my first piece of advice, this is not golden grade. But watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's my favorite animated movie of all time, and it's actually a leadership movie in there. It's about courage, it's about humor, it's about family, and it's about it's about leap of faith, man. It's really hard. And I'll share some things, and I'll let you pick out which ones are the grenades. But the thing that I found is that sometimes helpful for people when I teach them is the genius of the word and. What I mean by that is the ability to hold two kind of simultaneously seemingly contradictory views at the same time is a sign of a first-rate intelligence, says my guy F. Scott Fitzgerald. And so the two kind of seemingly contradictory things are: one, you're infinitely worthy of being loved right now, as is, flaws and all. Whether you're homeless or all the things, or all the things you did or didn't do, you're forgiven, man. So you got to forgive yourself. Infinitely worthy of being loved right now. And using the genius of the word and, we're also infinitely capable of improving everything about ourselves: how we live, love, lead, how we communicate. And so having that super aggressive mindset of keeping improving, which a lot of us do, we're all our worst critics, but also, like my guy Steph Curry says, my favorite player, also be your biggest fan. How many out there are your biggest fan? How many of you guys take care of yourself? And I know it sounds corny and super Brene Brown again, but how many guys really love yourselves? How many guys kind of enjoy the ride all the way? And one of the best comments I got was, hey, he's like, I knew I could trust you because you were just enjoying being homeless as much as you possibly could. You're trying to make that thing as fun as you could, and not only for the people or for you, but the people around you. So I think that would be my first thing is understanding those two sides of it. And there's a great quote associated with it from I teach this class in Europe sometimes, and they always ask me, you all have these American movie quotes. What's in a EMEA or a Europe, Middle East, Africa quote? And the first thing that popped in my mind was Michelangelo. For all the Marines out there probably don't know who Michelangelo was. He was a famous sculptor. He sculpted a statue called David. Just kidding. Don't send me hate mail, Marines. I love Marines. But he sculpted a statue called David, and he said, David was always there. I just chipped away the excess. I think that's a gorgeous quote. David was always there. I just chipped away the excess. So looking to me, leaders, as other people on your team, as perfectly formed, you just need to kind of help them chip away the things that are slowing them down, is a wonderful mindset. And also look at yourself like that too. We all make mistakes. Try to look at yourself. Believe me, I may have made plenty. Try to look at yourself and other people at their best moments and at their worst moments. Don't judge yourself or anyone really at all, but try not to judge yourself on your worst moments, the things you're not proud of, because man, that stuff is a black hole you can never escape from. You will never ever escape. You can never sort that out until you just kind of accept it and forgive yourself for it, man, because we've all done things that we wish we hadn't done, said things we didn't wish we had said, and all the things, man. But you can't, unfortunately, right now, until what is it? Back to the Future figures this out for us. We can't go backwards. So I think there's 14 leadership disciplines I've discovered, and acceptance is one of them. Acceptance of the situation and just kind of riding the wave. You don't see surfers cursing that their waves are bad or there's no waves. They just kind of hang out, eat s'mores or whatever on the beach or whatever. So try to be like a surfer. Be flexible. Like Genghis Khan said, the strongest part of any system is the most flexible part. The principle of Telegma, if anyone likes military stuff there. And Bruce Lee said, be like water, be flexible. So having that flexibility, be adaptable, be able to accept the situation, which is really hard. And humor is kind of like accepting it with kind of enthusiasm and kind of obviously comedy. But so that's one piece. This is another ramble, but let me see if I can think of another one that might be helpful for people is well, first of all, how's that? Is that helpful at all? Does that count as a grenade? Does that count as one or what?
I think there's two in there, man. I think enjoying the ride, like always, and finding, like what I interpret the first golden grenade was always enjoying the ride, right? Always finding the silver lining in every moment of your life, right? Which can be tough sometimes. The second one, you're a masterpiece. Don't judge yourself. Accept yourself, brother. I think that there's a lot of ambitious vets that may be out there that are just continuing to identify with these stupid mistakes from the past, right?
Yeah.
And just judging ourselves. And it's just stopping us from seeing the glory, the amazingness inside the moment. I don't want to get too corny either, but to reference your story, like being homeless and still being willing to prepare for a speech in front of hundreds of people that, in your mind, you're probably perceiving them as, wealthy, successful, whatever was going through your mind, and still being willing to be the most courageous guy in the room and tell your vulnerable story despite your circumstances, man. That is Awesome. Yeah, man, if you got a third one to kind of blow our minds, we'll finish up with that and give a call to action to your dogfighting depression ebook.
All right, man. You're too kind to me out there. And like one more quote from Into the Spider-Verse. You can wear the mask too out there. You can be a superhero also. It's not like I'm some special person, whatever. You just have to overcome the fear. And so that just want to encourage people out there that they can do this thing too. And but thank you for the kind words. The last thing I recommend is kind of like just similar to my mom's advice of the best thing you can do when you're not feeling that great is help other people. I know this probably sounds crazy. When I was a little boy in New York City, I'm like, this is just so whack, mom. Give your mom advice yourself. But the thing I've learned when I was homeless, there's only one thing that consistently brought me joy and fulfillment, and that was helping other people. And I know it just sounds so kind of crazy. So Aristotle actually figured this out before me. So Aristotle, you get the credit. He figured it out way before me. Although I figured it out in isolation from him, I take a little bit of credit, but he figured it out first. And he said, the way to live a fulfilling life is two things: the process of dynamics and energy. I'll explain it for all the Marines. Dynamics is finding out your unique skills, talents, and aptitudes. And you can ask people around you, and I encourage everyone in their homework, ask the people you work with, your friends, your family, what are like 2 or 3 things you love about me? What do you get from me that you don't? Those are your gifts. And then the process of energy is giving those things out generously with no expectation of return, like my mom said, and no exceptions to everybody. Be kind and generous wisdom to me is the ability to be kind and generous to everyone you meet with no exceptions. No, not your inner conflict, your current situation, or challenging historical experience of consequence. That's my little acronym, ICS check. So if you can be kind and generous to everyone, I promise you your life is going to get beautiful. It's just so hard because our brains are wired to compete and fight and all the things and like be defensive and all that stuff. But if you can find a way to be generous to everyone you meet, I promise you your life gets so beautiful in ways that you will never even expect. And so hopefully that's helpful for someone out there. So back to you, my guy. Hopefully that's helpful.
I think that's healing. I think that's healing, brother. So just thank you for that. So I just appreciate you for just being some guy that's out there inside the trenches of life. And I don't mean just some guy, like an average guy. You're definitely above average, right? So that's probably not the best play on words. But
I'm gonna put that on my website. Just some guy.
Just some guy. Dogfighting depression, right? Yeah. So, but brother, you have weight to your words, right, man? I think a lot of people are out there doing motivational speeches and they just don't have weight to their words. They haven't lived what they're saying. And I think it lands like inauthentic, right? So you've lived this life. I'd love for you to plug in this ebook that you're willing to give ambitious vets for free, the Dogfighting Depression and Navy Fighter Pilot's Guide to Victory plus Inner Peace. You've updated it, refined it a couple of times because it just means so much to your life, man. So where can an ambitious vet go learn more about you and that ebook?
You're so cool, man. Listen, I don't really want to make any money off this thing, so please just download it. I'm doing fine. It's dogfightingdepression.org. If you look on there, there's a link for it to download it for free, and also to pass it along to someone. It's no American classic. It's not Moby Dick or anything like that, not Hemingway, but it's saved a couple people's lives so far. And you'll have to forgive me. I'm a little egotistical in the book, as all fighter pilots are. I'm a little, and I probably ramble on a bit much, and I try to write it in kind of a fun and entertaining way. So it may sound like a serious book, and the book cover is this really cool guy who used to work for Apple did the design for me on the front cover. But it seems like this really serious and in the opening chapter kind of comes out kind of hard. But the book is usually written in an upbeat, kind of optimistic, kind of hopefully funny tone. So hopefully you will enjoy that. And if it means something to you, pass along to somebody out there because man, we got to do a better job of saving each other. And if we are all going to go through this in silence and isolation, and then just kind of continue on with our lives as if nothing's happened, that's a loss. If you're going through this right now, some of you are, and you're either struggling or making it through, you gotta please for me. Gotta help other people, man. It's not enough for you to make it out of the pot. We gotta get all the crabs out of the pot, including our Marines. Also, we gotta get them out there too. So, so share your story. Have the courage to share your story and watch what beautiful ripple effect it has. One of my favorite quotes, I'll leave it at this, is every act of kindness has a ripple effect with no logical end. Every act of kindness has a ripple effect with no logical end. So leaders, never forget the power of one person to make a difference. And if we're going to really make sure all our brothers and sisters get home safe and sound, we got to join the fight. So please help me out with it, whatever you can. And back to you, my guy. Thanks for having me on the show today. I appreciate you.
It's been an absolute honor. And I love that you're a quote guy. So you can just grab quotes out of the back pocket and nail your points on. So Dave, appreciate you, man. Ambitious Vets, go find Dogfighting Depression, Navy Fighter Pilot's Guide to Victory plus Inner Peace at the website that will be in the show notes below. Dave, man, thanks for joining the Ambitious Vet Show, brother.
Thank you, man. You're the man. You're doing good work out here, man. So please, again, one more plug for my guy, Chris Hoffman. If this has made an impact on you, send him some love and respect, man. Let him know the impact of that his hard work has on you, because we all got to be helping each other. And I have so much respect for you helping out our fellow veterans, dude. It's an honor to meet you. Thank you.
The Ambitious Vet is available on all popular podcast platforms. Go to vettrainingcoaching.com to subscribe, rate, and share with fellow vets.
When it comes to winning in life post-military, I don't need luck. The science-backed framework behind my Full Focus Planner equips me to make daily progress and achieve my biggest goals. For a limited time, Ambitious Vet, you can save 10% on 6 new products in the Full Focus store. Get 10% off now by visiting fullfocusplanner.com/ambitious vet. Again, fullfocusplanner.com/ambitious vet.